All right, ladies and gents, welcome back to another edition of Live SEO Support with your favorite
Ooh,
SEOs in the universe, Christopher Gegis and Nicholas Esquire Altamore the third.
Esquire.
And by the way,
Actually, my middle name is the third. I'll have you know. But not my first name.
oh, you're saying like
Continue.
your middle name was the third in
It was
succession?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, if you guys can't notice just by looking at Nick, it looks like a little bit of a change might have come over him. What's
Yeah.
going on over
Look
there,
at
Nick?
this guy. Holy shit. I mean, what is going on here? Look at this fitness. I know I'm a little sweaty. Sorry, I was at the gym, whatever, but that's right. We're back at it. Routine, start off with healthy living, going to the gym, just living healthy, and then getting to work, and feeling happy about it, happy to be at work, happy, healthy, new me, new life. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back.
Nice, man.
Me.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that you somehow found the motivation to get going there.
Can we talk about the issue we had with barbers recently?
Shit,
I know
yeah.
it's off topic, but this was a $8 haircut, and the
Looks better than
reason
my
I
haircut.
came, dude, I like it's the best one I've had in probably the last four haircuts, and I'm talking about I would never have done this in the past. It was always to the barber where you get a straight razor, talk to you for 45 minutes, etc. But yeah, last few haircuts, when you're shelling out 40, $50 for a haircut, it's got to be perfect. And you've got to enjoy your experience too. If they don't put a beer in your hand for that kind of money, it's not a good
They
shot.
don't do the
And
beers. Do they used to do
uh,
beers at that one place?
yeah, yeah, at that one place they did used to, they'd go down the street and grab them for you and put them in the fridge in the back,
I don't think they
which was
ever
kind
gave me a beer, but yeah, they I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Quality is definitely downhill at the one place.
Yeah, I mean, if you provide a service that costs a premium, you should provide a premium service, in my opinion, and that it's not just how the haircut ends up, but it's, a lot of guys, I don't know about you, I'm guessing you as well, that's like our only source of pampering, is to go in, get that haircut, and come out feeling kind of fresh.
Yeah, I've been
You
I've been
know?
thinking about becoming a massage guy, getting
Mm,
massages. I wish I could just get someone to come to my house and do it.
you can.
Yeah, I've
It's
just never really
probably
looked
just,
into it.
it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, probably.
Hmm.
Maybe when I'm out in Thailand or whatever,
Yeah, be a little more
something I
accessible.
can incorporate into the budget.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
nice.
but yeah, yeah, I might have to. I'm gonna have to get another haircut here pretty soon before a wedding. Maybe I'll go grab one of those cheap ones because it looks like they did a better job than mine
No,
did.
I mean, I feel like, you're still rolling the dice pretty heavily. I think maybe I kind of lucked out, but I'm sticking to it for right now. $8, being out $8 on something bad, not the end of the world. Throw a hat on.
Amar on
But
YouTube says
mm,
great hair, so you've at least got one
thank
fan out
you.
there in the
Thank
world.
you. All right, nice. Cool.
Um,
Keep them coming. We love compliments over here. We're not above that, and yeah, just keep showering us with that love, and we'll keep responding to all the most difficult SEO questions you could ever imagine, just based on you know, you inflating our egos.
Absolutely. All right.
All right, let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going. And yeah, if you're watching live, if you have any questions, go ahead and just drop them in the chat like usual. We will get to your questions first. If not, we'll just go to the backlog where we had people ask us questions in other places and stuff. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and get going. Um, is it okay for
Oh,
what's up?
don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, please. We never start the show off with it, and I'll try and remember to say it a few times here and
Yeah,
there.
sure. Like, comment, subscribe. Join us on Facebook, SEO Roundtable. That's
Mm.
definitely the place to be. All right. Is it okay for Singaporean websites to get backlinks mostly from US guest posts? We are aiming to rank in Google Singapore. Um, we answer this question probably once every week or every other week or something like that. But yeah, basically, US links can definitely help you. But you're also going to want to make sure to get some links from your local area, right? Um, I would say it probably matters a little bit more. Like, for example, if you were a US based business, a US based website, and you were getting like only foreign links and you were trying to rank in the US, I feel like it would be a little harder than if you were in Singapore getting only US links trying to rank in Singapore. But still, you should still try to get local links from Singapore. But US links or links from anywhere really can help you. But you definitely want to make sure essentially that your backlink profile looks natural, right? What is natural for websites in Singapore to get backlink wise? Like, where are their backlinks coming from? And you need to try to replicate that. I will say, like I just mentioned before, the standard probably isn't exactly the same as like if you're in the US or whatever. So you probably get away with a little bit more, US based links, being that you are not, you're in Singapore, than if it was the other way around. If that makes sense. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, so like Chris said, best practice, but also something to consider is what language this website is in and who you're, trying to appeal to in the SERPs, because the anchors, the language that everything's written in is going to kind of dictate where, you're going to be ranking, even if it's local, for what language, right? Because hypothetical in Singapore, for example, there's a lot of expats, right? So people that used to live in the US or abroad that moved there, live there. And there are little communities where maybe there's more relevance from outside of Singapore that would point in at that particular website. But best practice is always going to be, you're going to want that local relevance there, especially if you want local or, SERPs related to that nation. So, those are some things to consider and look out for. But yeah, definitely would want to mix and match a bit of each. Even if just, like if you're having a hard time, those local citations and things like that might, up your ability to compete with some other people.
For sure. All right. Um, I've been seeing posts about using AI for on-page SEO. Is it viable
Man,
to
it's
scrape articles from similar niche sites and use AI to switch up the content a bit before posting to your site? It's definitely possible, and
Yeah, there's a
people are
lot of
doing
this
it.
stuff going on.
Um,
Um, will you pull up that post that I put up from that other group? Because it is pretty interesting. A lot of people have been asking about AI content, and neither Chris or I was really using it. I think we're gonna maybe dabble with it a bit, but it looks like people who are after that type of business model are getting it to work here and there. So this is a post from another group, but since they actually gave me, the domain info here in the post, and I was able to audit looking at what they were doing, et cetera, then that would warrant sharing it with you, with all y'all out there too. It is really interesting. This site is smashing it. And apparently, they're doing it in nefarious ways using a lot of bots, a lot of auto generated content, and a lot of um, content that's ripped, basically, from PAAs and things like
yeah.
that.
I'm not gonna read off the whole thing because there's a lot here, but
Yeah. Yeah.
as far as your question is
You can
going,
find it in the group,
you're
though.
you're dabbling in some pretty I mean, you would consider this, black hat stuff. You're using lots of automated kind of stuff. You're scraping, you're slightly changing it up. Yeah, it's kind of like the
You're trying
return.
minimum effort. Yeah.
It's like the
Sorry.
return of like black hat on page, right? Which is something I feel like we haven't really seen for quite a long time.
Yeah, maybe like
Um,
ripping content in local SERPs, but like back in the days of spun content raking for national terms and stuff like that, I would say this is the first time that people are really excited about that again.
So what I will say is I know that some people are doing it, and I know that it can work. What I also have to say is that just be aware of what you're getting, what you're doing, and just be aware that it at least appears, Google came out and actually said AI content is now against our guidelines, meaning, and they actually specifically said we can give you a penalty for using AI content. So, um, just like link building, if you're, for example, we like to use PBN links every now and then, which is definitely considered black hat, but there are kind of safe ways to use it and whatnot. Just know that this definitely falls under that realm. And I don't think Google has really caught up yet. I don't think they can really do too much about it right now. They could manually inspect, but I don't really know how they're going to make that kind of determination with any kind of certainty. I don't really know. Just
God, could you imagine
just know that it
setting
carries some
that
risk.
team up?
Huh?
Yeah. No, I just like, I'm like, they're gonna have a hard time, I think,
For sure.
getting a hold of this beast, quite honestly. But something we haven't talked about in a long time is that here at Sir Links, we do preach longevity in the SERPs, and we teach SEO from a perspective that we use, right? From recipes that we use. There are a million different ways to skin the proverbial SEO cat, but what we're really big on here, even though we will talk about black hat techniques and we're definitely gray hats, is more be precautious and set yourself up for long-term success with your goals and with your money sites, etc.
Yeah. At the same time, it's getting to the point
Yeah,
where
stuff can be
it's getting to
fun.
the point where I'm like, this sounds pretty cool. Like some of the stuff they're
Yeah.
doing, to the point where like
But
I
see,
actually
then
want
you,
to mess with it. But
yeah,
it would be like its own thing.
yeah,
I wouldn't do it on an established site I already have like invested a lot of like time and energy and effort into.
no,
It would be like a new project that I would just, completely expect to just blow up at any second. And it would just be its own thing kind of contained there. I wouldn't just start ramping it out, everywhere, and especially not on
it'd
like
be
client sites or something like that if you're working with clients.
It'd be funny to accidentally kind of blow up a random project site like that, and all of a sudden you're making, what did this guy say? He was making like 50 grand a month or some crap like that.
Yeah, so the post that we're looking at right
Like,
here, and if you're
okay.
not in our Facebook group, definitely go over to our Facebook group, SEO Roundtable, or you just search for Sir Links a lot and join our group. Um, and yeah, because I think it's going to be kind of hard to read on here. Just the quality of
Yeah.
the image is not very good, and we're trying to like blow it up here for you. Um, but he's saying the website makes 50 grand, $50,000. I guess that's pounds. That's not euros. Pounds. $50,000 or 50,000 pounds per month by scraping featured snippets and people also ask answers and reposting them on their website. Blah blah blah. So they use an expired domain. They scrape tons of people also ask questions and the answers for them. Um, they group these questions by hundreds of thousands of topics. I'm guessing they probably use something like that keyword Cupid tool to just completely do it automatically,
Right.
so they don't have to do it themselves. Just automate everything, right? Um, they've used They've reused the also asked questions and the stolen content they scraped to generate dozens of subheadings on each page.
We're not advocating doing that either, okay? Just, no,
Now they
yeah.
have hundreds of thousands of pages, blah, blah, blah. They've used YouTube search API to automatically get the top 4 videos for each query. I mean, these guys like really like I really respect it.
I mean,
I
yeah,
wouldn't
I
do it, or
respect it
I
too.
might try it as a fun thing,
It's a
but
different level.
and it's not even
Well,
finished
no, we
yet.
would we would never rip content.
Blah blah blah. And yeah, I think they're just monetizing it all with ads because essentially the
Yeah,
content's going to be so
Ezoic, I think.
bad. The content's so bad because it's AI that it, it's not going to convert, right? People are going to be like, this is gibberish, and or just it's bad, and so they're just completely monetizing with ads, so it doesn't have to convert. Or yeah, I don't really, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it's just going to have a lower conversion, but when you've got, 1.5
Yeah.
million monthly visitors or something like that, then,
They don't have to
you
trust your
know,
content to convert, essentially.
yeah, little conversion's a little conversion
Um, blah, blah, blah.
in the form of 50,000 pounds a month.
Anyway, that's just kind of something we've been looking at. It's definitely like an undertaking. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
Even just the scraping part. That's you're getting into some pretty like advanced stuff that not a lot of people actually know how to do. Especially if you've been you haven't been doing kind of black hat stuff for some time now. Um, but yeah, just add the disclaimer one more time. Uh, it's working right now. It went for some people, and it can be working big, but you just have to know that it is considered black hat by Google. They can penalize you, and I would expect them to at least try to fight it. I don't really know how they're going to be honest, but um,
Yeah.
I mean they are Google, so let's see if they can
Having,
figure it out or not.
yeah, they got the money.
For sure.
Having said that too, just just in case you're kind of thinking to go on this route, out of all the people that I know that have messed with AI content, none of them have really stuck to it, except for a couple people that said they were doing it in groups, specifically with YouTube too, and they said they were doing well in our group. Sorry. And then, of course, I saw this one and put it up there. But yeah, like Chris said, there is a lot of undertaking involved in building something like that out, and you are going to have like a specific set of talents or know-how, and then be able to execute on what is a pretty intricate little plan if you want to do something like
And
that.
also, I guess we should also interject. Do we really know if the site's making $50,000 a month, or is it someone,
Right,
doing some guru stuff and trying to,
right. What? Yeah, well, I don't think that guy that put that post up is the owner of the
yeah,
site. I think
correct.
he was just
It's
kind
like
of looking through
passing
it
it
and he
on to
talked to
someone
him, right?
else.
Yeah. But what I can say is if you pop that URL into Ahrefs, it's definitely impressive, regardless of whether the 50,000 pounds is accurate or
So
not.
does he have the?
Because I think it was close to like 1.5 million. Yeah, the URL is in there. That's why I was okay with sharing
I do
this.
not see the URL at all.
It's separated. I can't really read it.
Um, anyway, um, yeah, I'm not seeing the website. Oh no, here we go.
It's a weird. It's a weird name.
I guess we could pull it up since they're just sharing it
Yeah,
publicly.
pull it up. Yeah, because it's really. I mean, it's pretty. It's pretty cool.
So here's the actual website that we were just talking about. Um, yeah. So, right off the bat, it's looking, like something a robot would generate, right?
Yeah, some kind of
They don't,
directory, right?
they don't even use capital letters on the like titles and stuff because it's all just that level of automation, right? Um,
Yeah.
let's see this. How do organisms that are not autotrophs get energy? Oh my God, look at this table of contents. These are all just the people also ask questions that they're
Wild.
ripping. So so yeah, it looks like all they did was they just used SEO Minion to scrape. People also ask for probably just a ton of just whatever they could get their hands on. Just probably had SEO Minion working overtime scraping. People also ask for like 20 different niches or something. And then yeah, they just plugged them into Keyword Cupid, probably had their unlimited plan or whatever, into Keyword Cupid, and they literally just made entire. I thought there was more to the articles than just doing that, but it looks like all they did. And then they used something to. I don't know if they're actually posting the article themselves or if they have some kind of other automation um,
I'm sure
doing
it's all
that.
automated.
But yeah, I mean that's all they did, and they used the AI to rewrite it, I guess. Um, God, this is
Oh,
this
I.
is fun.
Mm,
And then they got the,
mm.
the videos down here at the bottom that they got from YouTube, related searches. Um, Yeah, let's go ahead and pull it up in Ahrefs. But yeah, as far as like the actual website goes, I mean, this is very bare bones stuff. I guess the only part I wouldn't really know, or I don't know too much about, is actually the automation of actually getting it onto the website. You know, like actually posting it and everything in the on page and
Yeah, I
everything.
mean,
Because I'm sure they're not doing it
I'm
all themselves.
yeah.
Um,
No, I wouldn't think so, but
Give me 1 second. I'll get Ahrefs pulled up on this thing. All right, so here's Ahrefs for it. It's like, DR50, 10K referring domains. You can go ahead and assume those aren't the best backlinks in the world if they got 10K and they got DR50.
unless it's, oh yeah.
What? 5.4
I was gonna say unless it's an
million
age domain
traffic.
or something. 5.4. Yeah, I was under by quite a bit.
Jesus.
Pretty cool.
Um,
So yeah,
this is
what's
something
like
to keep an eye on,
3%
really.
conversion on, yeah,
Um,
see how long it'll last, or I
I'm going
mean,
to check out their
shoot,
backlinks real quick. I just
might,
kind of want to see
might
what they're
be up
doing.
10 years
I
from
guess you
now.
can't see my screen, can you? Are you looking on your own?
I'm looking on
Okay.
my own.
I'm just pulling up the backlinks real quick. See a bunch of foreign stuff in here. I mean, yeah, just the links are all over the place, right? But, the site probably um, is all over the place with their content as well. Um, let's see some of the biggest keywords they're ranking for. It might be kind of interesting. Ahrefs going a little bit slow. Please bear with us. Pig's scientific name. It gets 122K per month. Calendar 2022, they're ranking number 1 for. What even is that? Interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool little project. I went down the rabbit hole with it for a little while when I first saw it because I thought what you kind of said, which was that it was probably like a guru style post, but no, it's a cool project worth looking through and auditing.
Yeah, and they're just all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like, it's mainly based on, probably some very basic
This
keyword
they're ranking number
research.
1 for how do birds have sex?
I kind of want to see what
How
that
to
looks like.
become a slave. Wow. They're number 1 for how to become a slave. That has 2,000 search volume. That is a search I did not ever. Wow,
I
okay.
will say this, that question you were just talking about,
Which question?
how do birds have sex?
Uh-huh.
They're not showing up anywhere in the
Well, it's Ahrefs. Could be
SERPs that I'm
lagging
looking at.
behind. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I'm kind of curious about. Well, yeah, I guess we'll see.
Let's see, what's another one? Calendar
Yeah.
2022. I'll see. Calendar 2022. I'm not seeing them up here either. That's kind of strange.
Right? Yeah. No.
Um,
No.
yeah, they're not even on page 1 for it.
Are they even indexed still?
That'd be really pretty funny if they weren't.
If
They
yeah,
are.
we just look it up and it's like,
It looks
okay,
like
well,
they are no longer indexed.
oh, okay.
Well, there
Well,
you go, ladies and
so
gents.
there you go. Yeah. Now, mind you, yeah, that's kind of cool that I mean, it sucks for the person that made it, but it sounds like they
They flew a little
what
too
I
close to
I
the
like
fire.
I I like to call it robbing the bank. When people are designing assets that are intended to burn up, right, over the course of fast time, but they know they can make X amount of money in that, SERP robbery or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if they really were making 50,000 pounds a month, then I wouldn't be surprised if they've got a whole lot more of websites similar to this, or maybe they're going
Sure.
to try some other stuff.
Churn and
But yeah,
burn.
it does look like they burnt this one up. So that post, I think, is only a couple of weeks
Yeah.
old, and it most certainly was indexed when I checked it out.
I think it's only like a week
This
old.
may
That was like
also
last week, I think.
be
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. So
So
maybe it was only up for yeah.
so let's go back. Let's see how long it lasted for.
Yeah. There we go.
So yeah, I mean this just illustrates our point, right? And we don't know why it got de-indexed.
Could probably guess,
I mean,
but
it's a combination, it's pretty much always a combination of things. It's usually not just like one thing,
hmm.
or in a lot of cases. I mean, it can be like one thing if you're just doing like really horrible link building. But in this case, they're probably doing, it's really aggressive, unnatural link building in combination with extremely aggressive, unnatural website building. It's just completely unnatural everything. Um, here. So
yeah, especially when you're reading that like a whole a lot of the content isn't even rewritten. It's just straight ripped.
yeah. Well, no, they
You
rewrite
know.
it. They rewrite it. They said
Oh, they
they use
do?
the AI to rewrite it. Like
Okay.
they use, I guess, Minion or whatever to scrape all the PA that people also asks and the answers, and then they have the AI rewrite the answers. But yeah, I mean, it lasted a few months. Uh, if they were making, $50,000 a month, if this was truly all automated, and I guess we don't really know what they spent on link building either, but I'm guessing it wasn't exactly the, super duper premium link building if they built 10K referring domains real fast. Um, I would what
Even
would
if they
you
just
I mean, I have no idea what budget on something this would run like.
e-
What would you think?
I feel like somebody that's doing something like this, right, is going to kind of understand how to build on these recipes. It's probably not their first rodeo when it comes to automating websites and doing things like this that are more black hat. So my guess is it's based more in know-how than it is with a super heavy budget. If they're running a bunch of bots, etc., then I guess hypothetically, they're paying for whatever tools than using their know-how to get up in the SERPs. But
I feel like the budget
imagine
wouldn't be that
even if it,
much.
I don't think so either. I would say under five
Yeah,
grand.
that's what I was under
But I think it's
5K.
even less than that most
Yeah, I'd say
likely.
probably
But
it depends on the links really, but yeah, it could definitely be
yeah,
under 2.5 even.
and then if they run their own hardware and stuff like that, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they probably need I'm not really sure how they're doing all the scraping and stuff. I don't know
yeah.
what that would entail, but
But hypothetical, like, let's say it even cost them 10 grand, and let's say they are doing the guru thing and they made 30,000 off it total, like 3x your money. I think they probably did a lot better than that.
yeah. I mean, they were saying 50K
So
a
it's
month.
like my guess is they probably found something pretty sweet in those few months.
Anyway, we kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole in this, but I'm glad we did. This was probably
Yeah, yeah,
my
same.
favorite little live stream moment we've had in a while, because this is it's just interesting stuff. It's new, and
Yeah.
it's just
And I
fun
feel
to see
like,
that it already crashed that fast.
this is something that a lot of people that I speak to and I've spoken to over the years too, right? Like they don't seem to really understand that as an SEO, your job more than anything is going to be to explore what's going on, to learn about these new things, and to kind of just build up off of the things that you see. It's like taking a nature walk and you're a bird watcher or something like that. The more you dive in to Ahrefs or whatever tools you have to see what makes a website tick or break, the better you're going to be at coming up with recipes that are going to, help influence your success as an SEO. So, Get in there, start learning. If you're a quote serious SEO and you don't have a subscription, Ahrefs, SEMrush, or Majestic, am I missing one there? I feel like those three are the only three that I really,
Just Ahrefs.
Yeah, that's majority of what I get, but I can understand some people can't afford it or something, because they are pretty pricey, you know. And again, we say it at every show, you know, hit Ahrefs up and let them know that we're supporting them so much, and then maybe, you know, if nothing else, no sponsorship or something, they just, you know, help us out with an account.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. A question to answer here.
Chris doesn't like me begging, but you know.
All right. Is it better to get a DA70 guest post with 500 outbound links domain, or a DA40 guest post with 10 outbound links? Assuming the same.
Why not both?
Oh, you mean 500 outbound links from the article? I would go with the 10.
Outbound links.
I would go with the 10.
Same.
500 is quite a lot. Like 500 is a lot. Yeah, I would 100% go with the 10.
Yeah. It's like, how many words do you think that piece of content is comprised of with 500 outbound links? Now, mind you, they might be like blog comments or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's kind of spammy, right? But it doesn't mean like the link's not going to be good for you. But if they're the same price, yeah, what Chris said, DA40, 10 outbound links.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we just go ahead and move on from there. Not really much more to say on that one. All right, let's see what we got next. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Helps us out a lot.
Ooh,
and
God,
definitely join us in our
nice.
Facebook group, the SEO Roundtable, or you can just search for Sir Links-a-Lot on Facebook groups. That's definitely the place to be. We're in there every single day answering questions, posting tips and whatnot.
And don't forget, if you want a rabbit hole, you know, our YouTube videos are fairly organized now if you've got specific questions on specific topics.
All right. How important is on-page SEO if you guys are running off-page SEO for us? For example, there's no manpower at the moment to do on-page SEO. Is it still worth it to do off-page? So I guess this person's either ordering links from us or maybe in our managed link building program. I'm not really sure. Can't remember where I got this question from. But so the thing about link building, the thing about off-page SEO is those links are always there. You know, you build the links, they get pointed to your website, and it's not like your website doesn't have to be perfect right away for those links to have an effect. You know, the links are not going to go anywhere. So, you know, you could completely redo your entire website. You could completely change everything. And as long as you're not messing with the URLs, or if you are messing with the URLs, if you 301 redirect everything properly, you really shouldn't be, you know, wasting that link juice. So, you know, it can definitely, if you don't have the time to do the on-page properly right now, you could still get the off-page train rolling, like you said. You're starting to build up that link profile. You're starting to get your site crawled more by Google. You're starting to establish some authority, because it really takes some time. And so, yeah, I mean, I would say even if you can't do your on-page right away, if you can't get everything perfect on your site right away, definitely start with the off-page. But I will also add in the caveat, you do want to do that stuff at some point. You know, not doing that stuff, not doing your on-page, not having good content, you are going to make things significantly harder to rank. Or maybe even impossible in some cases. But yeah, that being said, it's perfectly okay to get the off-page rolling and then to fix things up when you have the time to do so. But you should definitely not skip out on that. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, you definitely can. Like Chris said, you could probably expect a bit of a delayed fuse on those links actually taking charge, and sometimes maybe no real movement until something on the website is done itself, right? Links alone can't really muscle up something that's not going to work for Google content wise.
So yeah, don't come saying, well, hey, why aren't I ranking if you haven't done your on page, right?
Yeah, right.
You know exactly why you're not ranking.
You know, I personally, I think that it's best practice to have your on-page foundation at least set up the way you kind of want it. It's readable and organized for crawlers to come through, right? Versus just like a slap together site that doesn't really crawl well, it's not organized properly, etc. And hitting it with a bunch of links. On a personal note, I'm always going to spend a certain amount of budget on the actual on page, typically in the form of content, and do some off page factors as well every month. For me, it just makes most sense to do what is natural in the SERPs, which is there's these sites that are constantly growing. And that's not to say there's not exceptions to this, but when I think of the majority of sites we work on, which are like affiliate e-commerce websites with lots of informational and product pages, etc. I would expect that as links are coming in, that also this site's growing from a content perspective, etc. And then of course that, once you learn on page, then typically you're not going back and tweaking things in too much of a like volatile way. You might come in and you're kind of messing with little variables here and there. But for the most part, when you've got your recipe for your on-page factors and how you want the foundation of the site to be, then you're going to be a lot better off later on versus if you're kind of confused about what perfect on-page is. Which, if you are confused, Chris has a great outline that he put up quite a long time ago, and then we've also got countless resources.
I'll use an update on that
in YouTube as well. Yeah, probably. Huh?
All right. You good on that one?
Yep.
All right, let's see what we got next. And yeah, it looks like we've got some questions rolling in. We've also got a backlog I want to get to because a lot of them came from our group. So we'll try to kind of run through these a little bit quickly if we can. But yeah, keep them coming, guys. If you got more questions, just keep dropping them. All right. Hey guys, if you could get one 90 DR link to a 6-month-old website, would you send it to the homepage or a specific page? You could go to either, really. It doesn't really matter.
It depends on what your backlink profile currently looks like, and whether your site's healthy in the SERPs. If it's healthy in the SERPs, you could use it to an inner page if you wanted to beef it up a bit. If you're not doing too well in the SERPs, like you put your site in Ahrefs and it's stagnant or constantly on the way down, then maybe a natural anchor to the homepage is a better option. Every time you consider you're getting a new link or something, you're essentially getting a new tool or like using some sort of tool. And the way you use that tool is going to depend on what you're using it for, right? So that's...
Yeah, it's just going to depend on kind of what you want to do with it, really. It could go to either, and either one could be very good for you. But like Nick said, probably the most important thing would be just to look at your backlink profile. Do you have too many links to that page already? Or how's the health of your site doing? If your site hasn't really started to have real nice, steady traffic or keyword growth for a while yet, then I would still go to the homepage with it. So it doesn't really matter that your site's 6 months old. It really depends, like, has Google really started to reward your site with page 1 rankings yet? And as Google starts to trust your site more, then you can do more links to inner pages, right? But if you haven't reached that point yet, probably just go to the homepage. But yeah.
Now, I will say that on a personal level, I am prone to using the higher end links, the stronger links, to my homepage. Yeah. Which is kind of funny because a lot of people, want to do the opposite of that. 1 second.
Okay. All right, let's see what we got next. Do you believe one or a few big DR links can actually make an impact when I explore just leaving the site at that and see what happens? Absolutely, they can have an impact, but it's really going to depend on your competitors, right? It's going to depend on how many links your competitors have, right? So if, to get to number one, they have 10,000 referring domains and you have 100 referring domains and you get one powerful backlink, you're still like, 9,900 referring domains behind them. So it might not have that big of an impact for you. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just think about these links as building blocks, right? They all add up. And so they each carry their own, their own worth, their own value. They each add to that, to your site's authority and how much Google trusts you. But yeah, it's just going to really depend on your competitors more than anything. It's as far as how big of an effect that has, I think. What do you say, Nick?
Yeah, I would agree with
Okay.
that.
Um, let's see. If your PBN provider gives you a link not from the homepage, just from the article, is it still considered a PBN? Yeah, absolutely. A PBN is it's just it's not a real site, right? It's a site, someone's bought a domain, a used domain that has backlinks already going to it, and they're just repurposing it for the express purpose of passing link juice to other sites, right? That's what a PBN is. Now, saying that, how the most people build PBNs is that the homepage is by far the most powerful place to get a link from. So, if you're getting a PBN link and it's not on the homepage, is it the same value? I would say probably not. Um, that being said, for example, we sell two different kinds of PBN links. We do our homepage rentals, where you pay a rental fee and your link stays on the homepage for as long as you keep paying, right? And we also do one-time payment PBN links, where your link actually begins on the homepage, but it will get pushed off the homepage eventually by other new content. So it begins on the homepage and then it kind of ends up sliding to an inner page. And I think that just the fact that it's starting on the homepage definitely has more value than a link that was never on the homepage at all. Especially considering, depending on what what blog you get placed on from our network, it can end up staying there for quite some time before it actually gets pushed off. But yeah, it's not always a long time; could just be a shorter time. But it's definitely still a PBN, right? Yeah, homepage is definitely the place that carries the most benefit. Got anything to add on that, Nick?
Yeah, from a technical perspective, that's still a PBN. However, if you're buying a link from a provider, I don't think I know a single PBN provider, and now mind you, I don't know many of them anymore, but that does inner page links from
I
a
mean,
PBN.
there's probably
Typically, if
just a
you're
bunch of
buying a
stuff on Fiverr
PBN,
and whatnot that we don't know about.
mm, I mean, if somebody's advertising PBN links and then you get an inner page link, then it's really not. I mean, it's just not industry standard.
You're right.
I've
It's not
never.
industry
A
standard.
PBN is a homepage contextual backlink. Now it may roll off of there, but when you purchase a PBN link, then that's typically what you get. Now, mind you, um, I personally use inner pages of my PBNs pretty often, because sometimes I need a pillow anchor text or get X amount of links out pretty rapidly, and it's a way for me to execute on that. It works well. And if it's an idea that some of y'all like, maybe get in the group and start hounding us for that product, and we can consider
Or
opening it
even
up.
cheaper, never on the
Yeah.
homepage PBN links.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The issue with that would be, if it's a really popular item and it outdoes the amount of new posts coming in, then, it could get gross. But we are
Yeah, I feel
very,
like that would just get the network
you
pretty
know,
spammed out.
just depends on how much it gets used, right? And yeah, it could. I think that's probably why a lot of people don't do it.
All right, let's see what we got next. Um, Can you discuss SEO strategies for an e-commerce website where there is a need to instantly rank a product page against giants like Amazon and Walmart? Um,
Actually, I have a case study coming out
so uh,
within a
I was,
week. That's true story. That's going to discuss a lot
so
of
I'll just
this.
say right off the bat, anytime you're talking about outranking Amazon and Walmart, um, you're it's things are
Advanced.
yeah, I wouldn't worry about, this instantly notion that you're gonna find some magic strategy and you're instantly gonna be
Yeah.
beating the two biggest retailers in the world, or at least in the US. I don't know if the world, there's probably
If
other
you're
bigger ones in
if
the world from China and
yeah,
whatnot. But anyway, this is you're in the big leagues, right? This is heavy duty stuff. Um,
multi-billion dollar corporations.
but it's not to say it's not possible. Um, Generally, when it is possible, it's because your website is more niched down than theirs are. Amazon and Walmart are very broad. They sell everything, right? So if your website does not sell everything, if you sell only lawnmowers, you have a lawnmower website or whatever, uh, and you have to actually look at the SERPs to see what kind of sites they're promoting, right? So, for example, is it all huge general sites, or are there some sites on page one that are also these kind of smaller, more specific sites? You have to check that out too. But in general, if you have a more niche down site, you're more targeted. Your backlinks coming to your website are all more about this thing as well, rather than this big general thing. Google will start to see you as more relevant for this term, or they can start to see you as more relevant for these terms. Um, and then from there, it's just building your authority, right? You build the authority of your site like you would for any other type of website, just by building quality backlinks, quality relevant backlinks over time. Of course, do your on page all correctly and whatnot. Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it is right there.
But
Um,
you're not going to get there instantly. Like you can shut that out of your head, really.
yeah.
If you
Well, once
want
once you get
quote
there though, once
instant
you get
rank,
there and then you post a new product or whatever, things could happen pretty quickly, I would say, depending on what it is. If it's a
yeah,
if it'll still take some time though if it's like a very established page, like this product has been out for a long time and uh you know, Amazon and or Walmart have held like number one and number two spots for like years. Even if you're starting to outrank number one on other stuff, it's still going to take, even the instantly thing, I don't think it's going to happen on the well-established stuff, but it could get
yeah,
there.
it'd be more likely on a well-established website. But yeah. So
Do you have anything else
strategies
to
for
add
an
on that though,
e-commerce
Nick?
website where no, I was just trying to see if we had any kind of info on whether it was a new site or older site, but either way, you outlined it for them.
Yeah, so just if your site's more focused, relevant backlinks, and just start building authority and expect it to take some
Well,
time. And this is
mm,
and also look at look at page one and just see if there's anything on there that's lower authority, that's more niche down, that kind of thing. Kind
yeah.
of scope it out.
One other strategy you'd want to look into probably, is keyword research is the like strong, it's going to help build the strongest foundation of a site that's niche down. So really get good at keyword research. Look for terms that are related to what you'd like to go after in the future and see if you can't execute on some of the longer tail stuff that's a little bit easier to access, build up that relevance and that trust
Topical
as
authority.
you go over. Yeah. So,
That's another thing, that you could have an advantage over them with is
mhm.
like Nick was saying, so Amazon and Walmart, they don't really have informational articles, And so if you're selling, back to our example about lawnmowers, if your site's all about lawnmowers and you sell all these lawnmowers, um, write a bunch of informational articles about lawnmowers.
Yeah.
That builds you as an expert on lawnmowers in Google's eyes, right? You're not only selling lawnmowers, but you have all this other information on, I don't know, how to use lawnmowers
It's
or
whatever. Yeah.
whatever. So that could be a little bit of an advantage as well, and it'll help for you to rank your other stuff, your harder to rank stuff over time. But again, that's something that we do with every website, right? It's really not specific to this case in general, but it could be a little bit of an edge in a very tough fight ahead of you.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, like all those little SERPs, with 20 to 50 random search traffic a month, will add up, and really help kind of, I mean, it's all based on just like the feel of building assets this way versus, having the hardline data on it. But it does seem like the more of these little SERPs that you kind of own the top three positions for, the more likely you're going to be able to go after the big related terms as well.
All right. Ahrefs shows about 4 to 5 orphan pages. Those are category pages. It isn't important to rank these category pages. Should they be linked to from relevant pages posts, or they are no longer orphan pages? What is the SEO stance on orphan pages? Do they impact the site's SEO anyway? So orphan pages don't impact your SEO really, except for the pages that are orphaned, right? They're just kind of out there sitting and alone, right? So if you're trying to rank them, it's obviously something you want to take care of. But you're saying you don't care about ranking them. The excuse me. The only thing here, even though you're not trying to rank them, I'm going to give you one reason why you might want to unorphan these pages and do some internal linking to them is because as category pages, they facilitate spreading link juice to other articles in those categories. So in that way, even if you're not trying to rank these category pages, they can just be useful as far as Google bots crawling your site and going around all your stuff, and also for link juice just going all throughout your site and spreading around to all stuff. So even though you don't want to rank them, I might try to figure out a way to link to them somehow, just to get juice flowing to them, and you could see a little bit of a benefit from that. Yeah, what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, the only real orphan pages I ever use or keep would be pages I'm repurposing that have like a lot of link juice going to them that maybe I kind of make as like a half-assed sort of hub page, that then links out to a lot of stuff that I do find important. It is crawlable through the sitemap, so it's not like they're no followed or anything like that. So they are crawlable, but without that relevance, like Chris was saying from other articles to them, it's going to show a lack of importance at the very least, right? So yeah, you do have to think about it, but yeah, for what you're saying, it isn't important that they're ranking, but they are category pages. If we're using WordPress, we're using categories, then I would say they are important in aspects to get them recrawled, like Chris said, really as much as possible. Kind of keep things, in your network, rolling through your network.
Yeah, if it was just a normal page that you didn't care about ranking, I would say don't worry about it. But because they're category pages, I would say it's probably worth
Yeah.
linking to them. All right, we are almost out of time, guys. If you've got any questions left, go ahead and drop them. We've got a couple left here we need to get to anyways. But yeah, any more questions, just drop them. Excuse me.
I ordered tiered link building. None of the tier 1 Web 2.0 are indexed. So tier 1 will pass the link juice to my money site, or link juice is passed only after the indexing. Yeah, we talk about this quite a bit. It's usually packaged a bit differently, but Chris?
Yeah, so well, okay. So basically, Google's search index is different from. So search index is not the same as Google knows about this page.
Yeah.
So for lots of different kinds of pillow links, like citations, and anything that's kind of like user generated on other websites, profiles, whatever, a lot of this stuff will never index. And does that mean that it's not passing link juice? With these things, with these kind of links, I don't even really look at it as link juice because there's not really much juice to pass from that kind of stuff. But anyway, does Google know about them? They can very well know about them. They don't need to be indexed for Google to know about them. But as far as your question goes, Web 2.0s, we do consider them pillow links, but you can also beef them up and start linking a lot to them, which it sounds like you eventually want to do because you're calling them tier 1. So maybe you had planned on building some tier 2 links to them. I'm not really sure, but um, I wouldn't really I don't know. I mean, if you start building other links to it, it's eventually going to index, and then it'll pass link juice to it most likely. If it doesn't,
If you're
something that's
doing,
kind of wrong.
yeah, if you're
Something's
doing
wrong at that point.
quality
If you're building,
tiered building.
yeah, if you start building tiered links to the Web 2.0 and that Web 2.0 isn't indexing, then I'd be like, something's maybe wrong. But it also depends like how much time, how much time are you giving this thing to index and that kind of thing. But yeah, kind of a little convoluted answer. Normally for pillow links, we don't worry about indexing at all.
Yeah.
We don't really think about link juice in the concept when we're talking about pillow links either. But yeah, if you're building tiered link to this Web 2.0, you definitely, I would say you'd want it to get indexed because it's kind of a little bit different from a pillow link at that point. It's kind of a more important property that you're building up. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really.
It also depends, right? Like
I don't know.
tiered link building is not all created equal. You can still have spammy ass links going to your tier 1 links. Google knows it's you manipulating that backlink profile, and it can affect you negatively. So if you're considering, going after tiered link building, then kind of consider that you'd want to use not total spam on the back end of like tier 3, probably all the way up to T4, T5, just to be safe, because you're building out what is sort of like a galaxy map from your website, and it can tell that you're this, center kind of piece to what looks like a bunch of nice tier 1 links with a insane amount of tier 2 or higher spam attached to it. So all of these things can affect how your tier 1 links are going to work or register as far as being indexed. And I know that kind of goes off topic with what you're doing, but I think it's pretty important when you're discussing tiered link building, that tiered link building, like a lot of things, is not how it was 6-7 years ago, where we used a lot of automated junk links on the back end of our tier 1s. Now, you do want to be a little bit better. And then not all Web 2.0s are created equal as well.
So
You can build them out
we
like
kind of
an
skipped
actual
this part
web.
of his question.
Hold on, let me finish. You can actually build out a Web 2.0 so that it registers like a website, right? Like it's got a lot of content, it's being added to regularly, etc. That's what a Web 2.0 is essentially supposed to emulate. It's like a mix between a social profile and your website. So if you're just adding one ripped or partially spun or just garbage content article on a brand new Web 2.0, the chances of it indexing are probably going to be extremely slim.
Yeah, so he ordered this. He ordered a tiered link building service. So
Yeah.
he ordered it, and they're using Web 2.0s as
Tier 1.
the tier 1 links, and then they're building links to those, and that's the package that they offer. So yeah, as far as wanting them to be indexed, I would want those to be indexed, right? But it really depends on like how long ago you ordered it and whatnot. If they didn't get indexed after some time, I probably would not be ordering that service again. Yeah, at that point, I would kind of think of them more as like almost like a guest post or a niche editor or something, kind of a pretty low authority one or whatever. But you would want that property to be indexed if it's a tier 1 link that they're building other links to. Would you agree with that, Nick?
Yeah. Yeah, but granted, what I mainly think of when I think of this question, or like, I ordered a tiered link building service, I'm like, you got something on Fiverr, and you got like 200 tier 1s
Oh, yeah.
with like, 15 minimum attached to the back end, and they're these, random
And
auto-generated
judging
kind
by
of
the
things.
question,
Yeah.
he's very the last part of the question, or is the link juice passed only after indexing? So he's sitting there, he's wondering, have I got the results yet or not? Am I seeing the results yet, or am I not getting the results? So I can definitely relate to this kind of unsure, you're very unsure about exactly, is it working or not, or is it passed or not yet? And it's not indexed, but I know they should be indexed, and when's it going to
Yeah.
What am I going to rank? um, but yeah.
Hypothetical, if it is a service like that or like anything that kind of would resemble that, then I wouldn't even check indexation on those things. If I ordered something like that, then it would be to kind of hide spam strategically within a backlink profile where I've probably I'm adding. It's sort of like mixing in blue chips and what's the other term?
Penny stocks.
Yeah, blue chips with penny stocks. But yeah, that would be more advanced technique. If you're just now pillowing and like this is one of the first link building campaigns you started to that asset, then I would kind of forget about it and keep rolling and probably look towards better quality stuff.
Is it important to put a meta description on every article you post? I would say yes. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, we do it, but now I'm like, is it important? Yeah, I would
Well, I
think
think Google
so.
actually says it's not a ranking factor, but I don't actually believe everything Google says. If y'all haven't picked up on this or not, we don't exactly
Yeah.
we don't exactly agree with what they tell us all the time. But I will say just for this, so when you search for something, I guess we could go ahead and search for something real quick. Uh, dog, or I'll say dog, boys, or small dogs. I don't know. Let's go ahead and pull up this search I just did over here. And here we go. So we're scrolling down, and here's a meta description right here. And you can see Google's actually bolding the keywords that we used out of their meta descriptions. And then the meta descriptions, here's more, it's just bold all over the place. Bold, 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 bold. And Google can actually, they can change the meta description. They don't have to pull the exact one that you wrote. They can pull it from a different part of the article. If you have, if you have the other keywords that the person is actually searching for, not in your meta description, but in another part of your article, they can do that kind of thing. But even then, I would say it's just a best practice. It's not something I would really skip, and I don't really know why you'd want to skip it unless you just started working on a client site and you've got a bunch of pages you need to write meta descriptions for. But even then, I would still say I feel like it's not something you'd want to pass up on. What do you think about that, Nick?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I mean, like, it's definitely best practice to do so. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Probably shouldn't skip on it.
Yeah. And yeah, so even if Google is like able to pull meta descriptions from other places, I still really wouldn't want to count on that. I wouldn't want to count on Google pulling the right thing. I'd want to, and just the fact that they could have more of an effect on, on ranking than we actually know. Yeah, I wouldn't skip it.
Carl is literally staring at me, just like with his head down, giving me little barks. He's on a
Carl is
diet,
his
so
dog, by the way,
yes.
not his
Sorry,
child.
yeah. Carl's on a diet, so I think he's kind of upset. Me and him both.
Does outreach/guest posting really work anymore these days in terms of getting them? I sent around 100 emails last week, got 10, 15 responses back, all asking for money. Yeah. Welcome to 2022,
Yeah.
right? Everyone knows the game at this point. There's not a website out there that you want a guest post from that has not received 1 million emails already. This is our territory. This is we're a link building agency, so we deal with this kind of thing every day. But yeah, this is part of the game, right? So it's just how things have evolved over time. And so when people talk about, I get links from not paying, like if you do like content marketing or whatever, you can get links without paying. But I will just say this, it's an extremely rare case to get a link without any kind of money being passed these days. Doesn't matter if you're doing quote white hat outreach and then they call it an admin fee or something.
Yeah.
There's usually money that's being passed around at some point in the process, and very, very little is free these days anymore, unless you're creating incredibly good content. And I'm not just saying good content, I'm not even saying very good content, but like incredibly good content that is like so damn good it blows everything else out of the water to a way that people are like, I need to link to this.
Yeah.
And are you creating that type of content? The answer is probably no, right? For the extreme
From
majority, like
majority of
not
people
to
here.
not to poop on your party or anything, but just for the extreme majority of people, it's just not the case. Let's be real about what we're doing here, right? Um, that kind of content takes time and like serious money and research and just to create something that good, or even like creating something like Tool or whatever. It's gonna take someone that knows how to program, that kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, it's very normal. And yeah, I mean, you sent 100 emails and you got 10 to 15 responses. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
From that point, remember to negotiate. You don't need to take their price at face value. Negotiate with them, see what you can work out, and then you can determine just by the metrics of the website and how relevant the site is, or what kind of content you're gonna post on and whatnot, if you think it's worth it for you or not. You got anything to add on that, Nick?
Sounds good. Carl, come here, buddy.
Is Open Graph and Twitter card a must-have for your article? I don't even know what that is. So I'm gonna say no.
So no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Open Graph is either. Twitter card, I don't know what Twitter card is.
I feel like I've seen this around Open Graph, but I just don't really understand what it is. It's introduced by Facebook, allows deeper integration between Facebook and any web page. Oh, so maybe what you're talking about is, so for example, in Yoast, I use Yoast pretty much exclusively because I'm a boomer. But yeah, Yoast gives you the ability to add, Facebook and Twitter, what the title shows up as on Facebook, what the description shows up as Facebook, the image that is displayed on Facebook, maybe that's Open Graph, and then maybe Twitter card is their own thing. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I definitely, I wouldn't say it's a must have, but it's something I do for every article, so if people were to share them on social networks, it would include those things. And you also have to consider, as far as like from a code perspective, having these things in the code of your website. Google's algorithms crawling all around. They see this stuff, so they see that you are getting your site ready to be shared on social media. They see that you're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. They see that your image, that it has been named after a certain keyword and it has its own tags or whatever, and you're putting more keywords in the description and your Facebook title and whatever. I think all these things kind of add up in a very small way, and it's something I do on every single article for sure. What do you think, Nick? That's kind of
No, I agree with you. Better to do it the right way, especially if it doesn't take much effort.
Yeah. All right, looks like we've got one more question here, guys. We've already gone over time. If you have any last questions, drop them in. We'll get to them, but we'll probably cut it off after that. Is it okay to put a web homepage on the website bar and then put an inner post link in the comments section simultaneously? I don't understand. Do you understand it?
I don't understand it. No. Hold on. Let me reread it.
Is it okay to put page on the website bar?
Okay, so maybe up in the header, you've got like your homepage link, right? Usually it's the logo. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, but
so
I'm
usually,
just trying to
the top menu bar, the logo is usually the homepage link, right? Okay.
Inner page link, inner post link.
So I guess inner page.
Inner post link in the comments section.
Sorry, I'm really confused.
So maybe a link to the homepage shows up in the comments section. So it's like showing up 2 times on a page, which is fine.
Oh, yeah. If you're just saying 2 times in the yeah, it's absolutely fine.
Right?
Absolutely, 100%. Like, so for example, on our website, here, I'll show this real quick. It's basically asking the question, can you link to something like twice on the same page or whatever? And it's actually
Yeah, I think that's the
and it's actually
question.
very common. It's a lot more common than you probably even know. You're probably already doing it a lot and you don't even know about it. So let me show you real quick. So up here, so we've got a link to our homepage right here, our logo. If you click that, it's a link to our homepage. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, blah, 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 blah. Here, believe we have a link to our homepage somewhere else down here. Or do we not?
The logo's not
Well,
clickable.
we used to. We used to have a link to our homepage down here. We used to have a link to the homepage down there. And it would be absolutely okay to do it. And maybe we'll go ahead and put a link to
Yeah.
our homepage down there. Who knows? Um, but yeah,
Either way, we wouldn't be too terribly preoccupied with whether it's there or
yeah,
not.
I wouldn't
I
worry
mean,
about it too much.
personally, I wouldn't.
And something you can
Mm-mm.
do to really notice how much of this you're already doing is go ahead and run a site audit on your using Screaming Frog. Like let Screaming Frog crawl your website, and then go and see the outlinks or the inlinks to a page or whatever, and you'll notice you're getting lots of like repeated links from same pages and stuff, a lot more than you really know about. There's just all this kind of stuff that's hidden around all the place that you probably aren't even aware of, and it's getting links to from all over the place. Um, Anything to add on that, Nick?
Nope.
How do you value expired or expiring domains for SEO value? What are websites with juice worth? What is a wiki link worth, for example? Nick is our resident domain hunter extraordinaire, so I'll let you take this one.
So what gives an expired domain value is the same thing that would give any domain value, right? You're looking, I mean, like typically if I'm looking, I'm going to be looking in Ahrefs. I'm going to be looking at an overview of what the backlink profile looks like, anchor text looks like. Toss it into archive.org, can look through what its purpose has been over the years. But when you are analyzing what a site's worth, you really have to kind of consider what you want this particular asset for and what it's worth to you, right? A wiki link in a specific niche might be worth a lot more to somebody who's, got skin in that game versus somebody who doesn't, right? They're not all created equal. They're not all used for the same purpose. Sometimes it's to add relevance. Sometimes it's just to add trust, etc. Um, but typically that's what you're looking for. Quality backlinks, quality anchors, that it's indexed is relevant if you're looking for aged versus expired domains, or, what we kind of call them, aged versus expired. One's indexed, one isn't, which isn't to say that you couldn't get it indexed as well. But yeah, the value of the site itself is really going to be determined by what your goal set is with that particular domain. And when we're pricing out domains, especially when I am like, I try and take a perspective because I've hunted domains every year. That was one of the first things I did get proficient at, was hunting domains early on in my SEO career. And I'll say that the more you do it, the more that you spend time in auctions, seeing what the competition is paying for specific domains with X amount of RD in whatever niche, etc., the more you'll kind of be able to put together like a hypothetical price list on what everything goes for. When I first started hunting domains, it was about 7 years ago or so. I could pull a whole lot more domains that were at um, far cheaper prices than I can now. It's gotten way more competitive, way more expensive, etc. But yeah, that's what you're going to want to look at specifically when you're trying to price out what you're going to do with the domain. what am I going to do with it, and what can I get out of it, right?
What do you think about
But
wiki
yeah,
links?
I like them. I think it adds a good amount of trust. It's an authority site, and even though they're no follow, I don't think that really matters as far as it passing a good amount of relevance and juice and trust. So I'm all for wiki links. Back in the day, when I was a little bit newer, I used to scrape Wikipedia a lot, trying to find broken links there. Mainly because it's just such a vast site, right? But that's gotten a lot more competitive as well. I think it's a good link. Um, but can I put like a specific price value on a website getting a wiki link? No, not really. It's more so about the broad overview of what you have with the entire link profile of this website and what niche it's in, and kind of what prices
Yeah.
those kinds of
Yeah, exactly.
domains
You have to look at like the
command.
overall backlink profile. How good is the overall backlink profile? How
Yeah,
clean is the overall backlink profile? How related, how rare is it to have something like this in
right,
your niche being sold? How good is the domain name, for whatever you're trying to use it for? Maybe that's important because
right,
maybe you need to be able to use it as an actual money site. Um, all this stuff is really going to factor into what a domain is worth. And so I wouldn't really try to price it like on a link by link basis type thing. It's more like this big overall picture type situation. And like Nick said, prices have gone way up on these things. Um, Definitely check out we've got domains that we have for sale, so definitely check those out. Just because we know exactly how competitive the bidding and whatnot can be when you're doing auctions. So yeah, definitely check our list out if you haven't already. Um,
yeah. It's gotten crazy out there lately. People fighting over domains that, in my mind, I'm like, that got overpriced, 2 days ago on a 6-day auction, and it just takes a couple people that have a vision for that particular site to really run it up. Now, on the opposite, I can think of multiple times where I've purchased small websites that probably nobody else wants based on maybe 10 referring domains going to that URL. And a lot of people wouldn't even mess with that. But sometimes if I can get it at the right price, like it's dropped and it costs, $5 to $10, $10 on average, then maybe I'll pick it up to use it as a way to influence more niche relevance. And sometimes, if those are very specific, niche down, relatable links to something, they really can help you move the needle. But then you've got to just kind of consider what uh, your cost benefit's going to be if you go down that hole.
all right,
Yeah.
so we got one more, and this is going to be our last question, ladies and gents. And we'll go ahead and end it after this one. Um, Is blog roll on the side widget still working, or link placement on the footer or contextual backlink on body content is still better? Okay, so he's talking about backlinks here. He's asking if sidebar backlinks or footer backlinks are still good. So I'll say, in pretty much every case, a contextual backlink from the body of the content is better for you. I wouldn't say that sidebar and footer links are not working. I would just say in the, you know, you could pick up a couple of them, but in most cases, I would just stay away from them and stick to the good stuff, stick to the body content, rather than trying to get footer links or sidebar links. It's just not natural for people to really get these links. It's not natural for people to link out to other websites from these places, really. It can be in some situations, but for the most part, it's I would just go after the natural stuff, body content, contextual backlinks. You can get a few of the other things, but don't make it like a very normal thing to get those types of links, I don't think. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, agreed. Definitely, if you're going to do it sparingly and make sure that it doesn't make up anywhere near the majority of your backlink profile,
Yeah.
right?
All right. Yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there, guys. Got through a lot of questions today. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And definitely join us in the SEO Roundtable on Facebook. That's definitely better than the YouTube channel if you're just there, because we're in there every day answering questions and posting tips and all that good stuff. You're welcome, Amar. Glad you're enjoying the content. You have a good day too. And yeah, we'll see you
Yeah.
next week, same time, same place, 12 Central Standard Time on Wednesday. Later, folks.